Obinna Okafor, a 35-year-old billionaire tech mogul, once lived the life most men only dream of. Luxury cars parked in a sprawling Lekki mansion, boardrooms filled with respect, and a glamorous wife, Ifeoma, who turned heads wherever she went. But one night, during a torrential Lagos rainstorm, Obinna's car skidded violently off the road. He survived, but his spinal cord was badly injured. When he awoke in the hospital, the doctor's words pierced his soul. "You're paralyzed from the waist down." At first, Ifeoma wept bitterly by his side. But as weeks passed, her affection dissolved. Her once gentle words grew cold. "I didn't sign up to be a nurse, Obinna. I have a life to live." Soon, she was spending nights away, posting glamorous photos online, and threatening him with divorce if he dared complain. Broken physically and emotionally, Obinna reluctantly agreed when she demanded a live-in maid to ease her burden. That was how Amara and Wosu entered their lives. Only 22, Amara had endured more pain than most elders. Orphaned at 5 after a fire claimed her parents, she had been passed from house to house like an unwanted package, used for endless chores, beaten for small mistakes, and never truly loved. Carrying a small brown bag and worn slippers, Amara stood nervously at the tall gates of the mansion. The intimidating security guard eyed her coldly. "You're the maid?" She bowed politely. "Yes, sir. My name is Amara." Stepping inside, she was overwhelmed. The compound shimmered like a palace. Marble floors, golden curtains, chandeliers, fountains, and sleek cars. But beneath the shine, the atmosphere was heavy with sadness. The guard led her into a quiet room where Obinna sat in a wheelchair, face pale, beard unkempt, his once fiery eyes dimmed. For a long while, he stared before muttering, "You don't look like a nurse." "No, sir," Amara whispered. "I only came to cook and clean." Her honesty startled him. For the first time in months, a faint chuckle escaped his lips. Something about this girl felt different. That evening, Amara spotted Ifeoma lounging in the living room, her nails long, makeup heavy, and phone glued to her hand. The look she gave Amara was one of disgust. "So you're the maid?" she asked with a hiss. "Yes, ma," Amara replied respectfully. "Make sure you scrub the master bedroom twice a day. If I see dust, you're gone. And don't think you can get too comfortable. My husband may be sick, but he's not stupid. I know how girls like you behave." Amara bowed her head. "I'm just here to work, ma." She had met many women like Ifeoma before, proud, bitter, and empty. Yet she swallowed her pride, prepared dinner, and later served Obinna with a gentle smile. The food tasted homely, and he was stunned. "This is good," he admitted. "Thank you, sir," Amara replied softly. That night, alone in her small back room, she knelt by her bed and prayed, "Lord, I don't know why you brought me here, but please use me to bring joy back to Mr. Obinna's life." At dawn, Amara swept the hallway only to see Ifeoma sneaking in, makeup smudged, heels in hand. She smelled of alcohol and late-night dancing. Amara quietly greeted her, "Good morning, ma." Ifeoma scoffed and walked upstairs without reply. Later that morning, Amara suggested gently to Obinna, "Sir, would you like to sit outside in the garden today? A little sunlight might help your spirit." He hesitated but agreed. For the first time in months, he felt the morning breeze, heard birdsong, and smelled fresh flowers. "I forgot how fresh air feels," he whispered. For nearly an hour, they spoke not of pain or sickness, but of books, dreams, and memories. For the first time, someone treated Obinna like a man, not a cripple. But their peace was shattered when Ifeoma's voice cut through the garden. "What is going on here?" Her eyes blazed. She ordered Amara back inside. Obinna's face darkened. That night, Obinna confronted Ifeoma. "Where were you yesterday?" She sneered. "You're not my father. I'm your husband." "A husband who can't even walk," she spat, laughing cruelly. Obinna's heart broke. "You said you love me. I love the man you used to be. Now, I feel like a prisoner. I won't waste my youth pushing a wheelchair." Outside the room, Amara overheard fragments of the argument. Her heart grew heavy. She couldn't understand why Obinna's pain felt so personal to her. One morning, Ifeoma sent Amara to the dry cleaner. On her way back, Amara stopped at a pharmacy to buy antiseptic. She overheard two women gossiping. "Did you see Madame Ifioma at the club again last night? With that tall man? Chinidu, the one with the tattoo?" Amara froze. So the rumors were true. Back home, Obina pushed away his food, appetite gone. Amara sat quietly across from him. "Sir, life does not end in a wheelchair. You still have your mind, your heart, your voice." Her words sank deep. That night, Obina stared at the ceiling, remembering he was once a lion. Perhaps it was time to roar again. The mansion had grown used to silence, but in those days following Amara's quiet encouragement, a small change began to stir within Obina Okafor. It started subtly. One morning, instead of eating his breakfast in bed, he asked Amara to wheel him to the dining table. Another afternoon, he requested a stack of newspapers. His fingers, stiff from disuse, trembled slightly as he turned the pages, but his eyes scanned every word with a hunger Amara hadn't seen before. "Sir," Amara said softly as she adjusted the tray beside him, "you look brighter today." Obina gave a faint smile. "For the first time in a long while, I feel alive. Maybe I was too quick to bury myself." Amara's heart warmed. "Sir, a lion does not lose its roar because it sits. It only waits for the right moment to rise again." The words lingered in his mind. That evening, he asked her to wheel him into his study. The room smelled faintly of old books, polished wood, and memories of late nights spent drafting contracts. He hadn't entered it since the accident. His heart pounded as Amara pushed his wheelchair closer to the massive mahogany desk. "Would you like me to bring your laptop?" Amara asked cautiously. Obina hesitated, staring at the desk where once he had commanded empires. "Yes, and the iPad, too." As she placed the sleek devices before him, he pressed his palms on the armrests, lifted himself slightly, and shifted into a straighter posture. His fingers hovered shakily over the keyboard, then began to type, slowly, one letter at a time. The sound of keys clicking echoed like thunder in the silent study. Amara stood quietly in the corner, watching with awe. The man she had first met was a ghost of himself, broken and pale. But now, the old Obina flickered through the cracks of despair. The sharp mind, the restless builder, the man whose name had once commanded boardrooms from Lagos to Abuja. Hours passed. He typed, stopped, thought deeply, then typed again. At one point, Amara gently interrupted, "Sir, you haven't eaten since morning." Without looking up, Obina replied, "Then I will eat later. Right now, I must feed my spirit." That night, Amara found herself kneeling by her bed again. "Lord," she prayed, "thank you. The lion is waking. Please give him strength to keep roaring." But their fragile peace did not last. One late evening, as Amara carried a basket of folded clothes past the kitchen window, she noticed Ifioma stepping out in a glittering black gown, perfume trailing behind her. The headlights of a sleek car pierced the darkness at the gate. Inside was a tall man with dreadlocks and a tattoo curling across his neck. Amara's heart raced. She pressed herself against the wall, peering just long enough to see Ifioma lean in, laugh, and place a kiss on the man's cheek before slipping into the car. The vehicle sped away into the night. Her breath caught. This must be the Chinidu the women at the pharmacy spoke about. Torn between fear and duty, Amara ran to Obina's room, knocking lightly before entering. He was reading when he looked up and immediately noticed her pale face. "Amara, what is it?" he asked firmly. She hesitated, wringing her fingers together. "Sir, forgive me, but I think there's something you need to see." He frowned. "Speak." "I saw Madame Ifioma," she whispered. "She left again tonight with a man. He's tall, has dreadlocks, a tattoo. It wasn't a taxi. It was no ordinary visit." Obina's expression hardened. "Are you sure?" Amara nodded slowly, lowering her eyes. "I didn't want to speak before, but I heard women gossiping at the pharmacy. They said Madame has been seen at clubs with a man named Chinidu. I thought maybe it was just talk, but tonight I saw it with my own eyes." For a long moment, Obina said nothing. His chest rose and fell heavily. Finally, he reached for his iPad and opened the security app, his company's technology, one of his proudest inventions. He tapped on the gate camera footage. There it was, Ifeoma, blowing a kiss to the tattooed man before slipping into his car. Obina's jaw clenched, and the veins in his neck pulsed. He sat still for several minutes, his silence heavy with grief and rage. Amara swallowed hard, unsure if she had done the right thing. "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to bring you more pain." He lifted his hands slowly, his voice low but steady. "No, Amara, you have given me the truth. And sometimes, truth hurts more than a wound. But it is also what sets a man free." That night, Obina did not sleep. He sat by the window, staring at the city lights in the distance. The betrayal cut deep, but beneath the pain, a fire stirred. The lion, long caged in weakness and silence, had tasted the scent of deceit. And now, the roar was rising again. The next morning, Obina called his lawyer. Calmly, he gave instructions: rewrite my will. If I die, Ifeoma gets nothing. Begin divorce papers quietly. That evening, he confronted his wife. "Chinedu," he said firmly. "Tall, tattoo on the neck, drives a black car. You don't even hide anymore. This is my house, my name, my kingdom. From today, I am no longer your weak husband. If you want to leave, leave, but with nothing." Ifeoma's face twisted in anger. She raised her hand to slap him, but Amara quickly stepped forward. "Don't," she said quietly. For once, Ifeoma froze. Days later, Ifeoma pretended to soften. She invited Amara to sit with her. Smiling sweetly, she asked, "Do you dream of going to school, maybe even abroad?" Amara's eyes lit up. "Yes, Ma. It has always been my dream." Ifeoma leaned closer and slipped a small white packet into Amara's palm. "Put this in Obina's food. It will help him relax." Amara looked down, her heart racing. "Ma, why don't you give it to him yourself?" Ifeoma's smile turned cold. "Because he won't take it. If you refuse, you'll disappear. Tell him, and you are gone." That night, Amara sat in her room, staring at the packet like it was a curse. Tears streamed down her face. The next afternoon, the mansion carried a strange stillness. Ifeoma strutted around in silk loungewear, humming to herself, oblivious to the storm brewing. At precisely 4 p.m., the bell rang. Amara peeked from the kitchen as two men entered, the family lawyer and a private investigator. Both wore dark suits, their faces grave. Obina rolled forward in his wheelchair, voice sharp. "Sit down, Ifeoma." Ifeoma frowned, confused. "Why should I? What is going on?" I said sit down. Something in his tone made her freeze. Slowly, she sank into the sofa, her arms crossed. The investigator stepped forward and opened a folder. One by one, he laid photographs on the coffee table. Ifeoma laughing with Chinedu in his car, entering nightclubs, dining at restaurants. Each photo was a dagger. Ifeoma's face drained of color. "What is this nonsense? Are you spying on me now?" Obina did not flinch. "Keep watching." The investigator placed a lab report next. "This is the test result of the powder you asked the maid to put in your husband's food. It is poison, slow-acting, lethal over time." Ifeoma is shot to her feet. "Lies. She's framing me. That wretched orphan wants to ruin my marriage." Obina's voice thundered, for the first time since the accident. "Sit down." The sound silenced the entire mansion. Even Amara, watching from the corner, felt her heart pound. "I trusted you, Ifeoma," Obina said bitterly. "I gave you my name, my wealth, my life. You mocked me, cheated on me, tried to destroy me. And still, you call yourself a wife?" Tears welled in Ifeoma's eyes. She fell to her knees. "Obina, please. I was desperate. I made mistakes, but I never meant to go this far. Please forgive me." He turned his face away, his voice like cold steel. "I forgave you once, and you sharpened your knife with my mercy. Now, there is no forgiveness left." The lawyer dropped a thick envelope on the table. "These are your divorce papers. Mr. Okafor has already signed. You have 48 hours to leave this house." Ifeoma's wails filled the mansion, but Obina wheeled himself away, his back straight, his resolve unshakable. Amara's eyes stung with tears. For the first time, she saw the lion roar. Broken and angry, Ifeoma ran to Chinedu's house. Together, they plotted revenge. That night, He hired men to attack the mansion. Near midnight, Amara heard strange sounds at the back window. She quickly warned Obina. He opened the CCTV app and saw 3 masked men climbing the wall. He pressed the alarm. Sirens blared, lights flashed, and security guards rushed in. Shots rang out, and the attackers were caught. Under police questioning, one of the men confessed. "We were sent by Chinidu. He told us to finish Obina and the maid." Obina's face hardened. Now there will be justice. The day of judgment finally came. In court, Ifeoma and Chinidu sat handcuffed, their faces pale and defeated. Obina sat quietly at the back with Amara beside him, her hand resting gently on his. The judge read out the charges: cheating, betrayal, and even an attempt to poison Obina. The evidence was clear: photos, money trails, and the lab report of the white powder. Ifeoma broke down crying, begging for mercy. Chinidu tried to blame her, but the judge silenced them both. "This court finds you guilty," the judge declared. Ifeoma Okafor, 10 years in prison. Chinidu Ease, 12 years. The gavel fell. The sound was final. Officers dragged them away as Ifeoma wailed, "Obina, forgive me." But Obina did not respond. That chapter of his life was closed. Weeks later, the mansion was peaceful again. No more fear, no more shouting. Only laughter, fresh air, and the sound of life returning. One morning in the garden, Obina called Amara to sit with him. He looked in her eyes and brought out a small velvet box. "Amara Nwosu," he said softly, "you came when I was at my lowest. You gave me hope again. Will you marry me?" Amara gasped, covering her mouth as tears filled her eyes. "Yes, yes, Obina." Then, to her shock, Obina slowly stood up from his wheelchair. "You're walking?" she whispered. He nodded. "I could walk months ago, but I needed to know the truth about Ifeoma. And in that time, God sent me you." Amara's tears flowed as she hugged him tightly. "I loved you even when you couldn't stand," she whispered. "And I'll love you always." Weeks later, their wedding was held in the mansion's garden. Amara wore a simple white gown, glowing like a queen. Obina stood tall in his suit, smiling like a man reborn. "I do," she said. "I do," he replied. Their kiss sealed it. The orphan maid had become a beloved bride, and the fallen lion had found love again. Together, they had turned pain into joy and wealth into something greater: honesty, faith, and true love.